I still wonder to this day how I was able to digest in such a short period of time and in such a positive way, kind of, what I was faced with, because I don't remember, I just sort of, I believe, felt, oh well, nothing we can do about this now, and just move forward. And I didn't get emotional at that point. I just knew we were in a jackpot, but there was nothing you could do about it. So there was no sense kind of beating yourself up or feeling sorry for yourself, because it didn't help. The first time I got emotional, this was silly though, but it was obviously real for me. I have a cat that I'd had for a number of years. I saw her sitting in the doorstep with the door wide open, and again, I didn't think the fire was going to come and burn down the town. I thought the next day I'd be putting all the stuff back on the shelves. But anyway, I saw the cat, and traditionally, or normally, that cat would be out at night and in during the day. So when I left for the last time, there was that morning, I locked the door and kind of assumed that the cat was in the building. But as it turned out, that wasn't true, because 3 days after, I had come down and I was going to take some pictures of the property. And I guess my presence around there, I was there longer than I normally had been on a previous visit. And I guess just my cat was fine, she was alive, and she made her presence known. She started to meow. And when I saw her, I came apart. I just absolutely lost it. And so I felt far more emotion finding that cat alive. I'd already assumed she burned up. But that was absolutely, for me, the most emotion that I showed through the entire thing. But I don't know, I feel very, very grateful that I've have the type of personality that was able to just deal with this situation and move forward, if you know what I mean, and not, I mean, I do, of course you dwell on it, think about it constantly, but I don't make a big issue out of it, and I don't feel sorry for myself, or, you know, it was just circumstances. I was amazed at how many people chose to stay here. I think that's a study in itself, because a lot of the people that lived here were kind of on either fixed incomes or, well, they were. A lot of them were older, and I don't think they had the choice, to be honest with you, of just, you know, like walking away from the property, their home and property that they had here, and then going somewhere else and starting over at that point in their lives. I just don't think that was available to them, so they just rebuilt, or they picked up the pieces. But it did amaze me that I believe only less than half a dozen families moved on, and most of them, there was a good reason. They were thinking about moving anyway, or family somewhere else. So that I was pleased that it happened to me, for sure. I can see now with the effects of the pine beetle kill, how important it is to fireproof properties and communities with the just being proactive with fire guarding and fire safing your community. Because I think that it's still a time bomb here in BC. I think we've been just so lucky that other small towns like ours haven't been impacted. Like, I don't think a big city is as precarious as a small town, because they have larger fire departments, structural fire departments, and more resources. And I guess it's that mentality that, well, they'll never let the big city burn down. And it wouldn't, I don't suppose. So some people sat and felt sorry for themselves, and while others said, like me a little bit, well, there's no sense dwelling on this. It happened, what can I do to move forward? And I think that's just the difference, is your perspective on the future. Yeah, I think that, because there wasn't all these opportunities that I'd seen were available to anybody, and it was just the one that carried it out, succeeded. But again, I think a lot of the local people weren't impacted by the fire, and some of the locals think it was a waste of time, a waste of money. They don't even recognize it, if you know what I mean. And so, but I think we owe the traveling public an explanation of what happened here. Because some people think they still come in here and say, did the bugs do that? Oh. You know, they don't know. They don't know. Yeah, and we did this on quite a limited budget. I think that basically that people take things for granted and we don't know what we've got until you lose it. I think that's the most important lesson that I could think of. It can be here today and gone tomorrow so quickly, something outside of your control. So, and I remember a girl saying she had lost her home, and I remember her saying she had crystal cups in her china cabinet, and she never used them. They were a wedding gift, and she was always waiting to use them for a special occasion. In retrospect, she wishes she'd use them every day, just use them. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, when we came into the community, it was like driving into a movie set.
Right.
There were power lines, power poles that had burnt off. Right. And power lines crisscrossing the highway.
Yeah.
And small little pops of fire here and there. The sawmill, like I say, was totally destroyed.
It was an antique store as of about 94.
This is the building where we are now.
Oh, okay.
Down there.
Well, the former building.
We bought that.
Yeah.
My wife and I, and we ran it as a seasonal fruit stand. Then we did the facelift and moved the store and post office down here. And then the old store I turned into an antique shop. Now I took these pictures as I was leaving the town, like the second time when I knew it was getting close. And this hill is that hill right there. So as I left for the final time, I just snapped these shots. And then when we returned on the next morning, that's what we saw. And it was like a moonscape. See, what I couldn't get over is how the earth was so completely burnt to just right down to mineral soil, kind of. There was nothing organic left in spots like this. It was just burnt so severely. So this is the day I found my cat. And her mouth, she's got a funny look on her face. That's why you can see that tongue sticking out. Couldn't close her mouth properly. And this is the reconstruction. This is us starting.